Okay, to create a general arrangement after a lock, there are two ways, but basically what we want to do is stick this on a drawing first and then work out what our numbering or marking system is. Okay, so to stick this on a drawing, if you go File, New, and there are some templates that you can use. There's an A3 here that we use, and I'm just going to put 3 views and an isometric view up in the corner. Okay, so if you just place that on, if you go up into the view layout area and select projected view, it just drags them onto the drawing sheet. Okay, the scale of the drawing will change, 1:75, brings it up nice and big. And if you want to grab a view, hold the Alt key down and you can drag it that way. Might want to make this one color. Okay, so we're going to put some annotations on now. So if we go down and pick that view and zoom in on that leg, up into the annotations area, grab the sketch, select the edge of the column and drag it out to the left there, and then select the property link, and what we're going to do is grab a custom property under the component. When we do a lockdown, there are fields that are automatically added, so we can add the assembly doc like that. That picks up the custom properties for the actual file name for the assembly doc. You can remove the leader. You can even rotate the text, and if you change the font by clicking on use font, use document font and unticking it, that means now that we can put our own on. Now, so what you'll see is that because each one of these members has custom properties underneath of it, if we do a Control C and select the text, and then over here on this column, Control V, you'll notice that the name has changed. If we also want handrailing, we can select the top edge of the handrail. If you zoom in on it, and you'll notice that the handrail's got its name. We can turn that around and put a notation on there so that it is 0, and just tick the document font back on again. So that sets that one up. The stairs as well, so we can select the stringer. Whoops, I must not have selected the stringer, I must have selected the sketch underneath. So just be careful of what you're selecting, otherwise it won't pick up the items underneath. Now that sort of gives you a bit of an idea on the marking system. It doesn't matter what view you place your text onto, you will get mark numbers because the model is underneath this and it's linked to the 2D drawing with the custom properties. Now if we want to change the custom properties, there is a function in TSD that will allow you to change that. Now I'm just going to save this under the assembly name. If we go back over to the model by selecting Window and then select the assembly, and we go to TSD Utilities, Modify Model Custom Properties, tick the both weldment, mark number, member assembly and members. Under the field name, you can put your own mark number, mark field. I'm using mark as a default. And what we want to do is we want to get all the models. So it's looking for all the models that have the mark name in it already and what that will be. You can see it down the left hand side, just going through all the assemblies. Okay, so now that we've got the mark numbers in here, we want to change them. So we can select all. We can use a file name that we would like to use under text, or we can just use the existing file name and change that to that. So as you can see, now the value for each model will be that for that field. It'll be those strings of letters. Now we can export down to Excel. We can import back in, and that will give us our own marking system. Or You can use a modified file name and use part of the file name. And in here I'm just going to grab the 8th letter from the left hand side, and I want 2 letters. So you'll notice in here it says CM001. If I click update values, you'll notice now I'm using my own mark numbers, different to the file names. All right. So now I want to update the models, so I click on update models. And that's going through one model at a time at the assembly level and at the component level, putting in the field name, mark, and putting the value in for each item for each assembly, what that value will be at those levels. Okay, so that's done. So we just exit out, and because all that's happened, I'll just do a Control Q and a Control S for save. Right mouse click and go open drawing. Okay, so there's our drawing. Now I'm just going to use the same process we did to create these mark numbers. And if I select the stair, now this is running a bit slow, so if you just turn off the hide all types, that'll be nice and quick now. If we double click on that value there, that text string there, and click on the link to property, we go to the component, tick, and then you'll see the field name mark in there now. So I click mark, and now I've got my own mark number there. That's how you put your own mark numbers. So the same process again. If I hit Control C, and I can paste it on any item, and you'll see the marks come up that we created earlier. Just another way to do mark numbers on a GA